Hey, Sam here from EnglishForDoctors.org, where we help ambitious doctors communicate confidently and effectively in English so they can grow their careers to the next level. And unless you've been living under a rock, and I'm a little bit jealous if you have been living under a rock this past year, because it's been kind of quite the year. But it's no secret that this pandemic has greatly accelerated the already changing work environment as more and more of us have adjusted to a work from home situation to keep everyone as safe as possible. Actually, according to a survey from US-based Enterprise Technology Research, the percentage of workers around the world that is permanently working from home is expected to double this year. And I think most of us can agree that online presentations and meetings are the new normal, if they weren't already before the pandemic. And to address these changes, I decided to share some adjustments that you need to make in order to ensure that your online meetings and presentations run as smoothly as possible. Because no pandemic, no disease, nothing can stop us from having great meetings and giving successful presentations. So, if you've ever participated in any kind of online meeting, then you have probably experienced at least one of those awkward moments where, there's a delay or there's some issues with the audio sync causing you or the other meeting participants to interrupt one another. And that's where my first tip comes in. In order to minimize the chances of this happening, make sure to take longer pauses before responding, after you've asked a question or if you are replying to a statement made by another participant. So doing this will give time to ensure that the participant is finished with what they have to say, even if there is some lag time in the audio. And now you might be thinking, Sam, but what if there are a large number of participants in the video conference? How can I make my meeting or presentation engaging and interesting for all the participants and, with all the problems that come along with having multiple people talking on the video conference? Don't worry, my second tip is for engaging the participants in the meeting or the presentation. And an extremely effective way to do this is by asking them simple yes or no questions and then prompting the participants to respond to your question in the chat on Zoom or whatever platform. So then you can respond and read out the answers, and from reading out the answers, responding to their questions, you can strike up a conversation. And I also suggest addressing the responders by their names to establish an even more personal connection. So to put this strategy all together, let's say you're presenting to a group of other high-level doctors from all over the world at a virtual conference. You might ask where everyone is from in the beginning by saying, "Thank you so much for attending the conference. Real quick, can you type in the chat box where you're watching this from?" Then, as the participants are replying, you can reply by saying, "Oh, I see we have Alex from the United States. Ooh, Claudia from Brazil. And Sandra from France. Wow, that's amazing to have doctors from all around the world here." So with this strategy, you're creating rapport with the other participants in the meeting in an efficient manner while not risking too many technical issues, as you would if you had people respond with their mics. So my third tip is building right off what I just said regarding the use of the chat box. You should really make a plan for how and when you will take questions from the other meeting participants. So decide before your presentation or meeting whether you will answer questions during or after it. And then at the beginning, you should tell the participants, to type their questions in the chat box. And to make this process even easier, especially if you have a lot of participants in your meeting, I suggest finding a moderator to keep track of all the questions and comments, and have your moderator also reply to the questions and comments that they get, the ones that they can reply to. So delegate it to them. And I know it sounds like I'm against having actual conversations over the video conference since I keep mentioning this chat box, but please stay with me on the video and hear me out, okay? Because I'm not against it. If the group is a smaller size, then I am actually an advocate for live discussions in the virtual Zoom meeting to make the meeting more personable and engaging. So my fourth tip for you is to encourage a live discussion with the participants if the video conference is an appropriate size. And trust me, this is possible, but you will have to take initiative to break the ice, create rapport, and initiate the conversation if needed. If you need help with that, then please refer to my past videos and articles about making small talk and having engaging conversations with your colleagues, because that will apply to virtual meetings as well. And again, if you have a live discussion, then make sure you pause before responding to questions and comments from other participants to avoid speaking over them and then the inevitable awkwardness that follows those situations. This leads me to tip number 5, which is to repeat the comments and questions before you respond to ensure that every participant has heard and understood it correctly. So that's my 5th tip. And my 6th and final tip is to make sure that you're prepared beforehand. This might sound obvious, but when you're working from the comfort of your remote office, it is really easy to leave things to the last minute. Trust me, I've been working online for over 2 years and I've learned the hard way. So, to avoid the same mistakes I made, I suggest logging on to the video conferencing platform at least 10 minutes before, just in case there are any technical difficulties or issues with your internet connection. Now, personally, I will usually connect to my mobile hotspot because it's never failed me once, and the Wi-Fi in my condo has failed me on occasion. So I just wanted to share that, but don't take that as a direct suggestion. It really depends on your own Wi-Fi and data situation with your phone company. You should also get all your presentation materials ready to go during this time, during these 10 minutes, at least these 10 minutes. So have all your slides open and the tabs ready to go on your computer. I'll actually share my screen before the meeting even starts so that the participants will see my first title slide and then the smaller video of myself as they enter the video conference. So this way I don't have to worry about fumbling around with my share screen option while my participants wait for me to begin the presentation. So I'm ready to go. And it probably goes without saying, but make sure that you're in a quiet environment. If there are other people in the room, make sure they're not talking. It might be a good idea to mute your mic if you're participating in a larger meeting, especially on Zoom, because if there's a sudden noise in your room, the camera may focus on you, even though you're not actually the person speaking. And this will happen in the recording. If sometimes you watch a Zoom recording and the camera focuses on like a random person, it's because there was a sudden sound in that person's room causing the camera to pick up that person. Also, if you're the host, you can mute the mics of all the participants, which might be a good idea considering the size and the nature of your video conference. So, that was a lot, I know. Thanks for sticking along till this point. Those are my top tips on how to give engaging presentations and have effective online meetings. I hope you found it helpful. Please give it a like and consider sharing it so it can help more doctors have better online meetings and presentations. I also have a free training for doctors at my website, www.englishfordoctors.org/free-training if you're interested in learning more. I'll see you in the next video, and cheers to your success.